Hello, my name is Dr. Bobby Sura. I'm a psychologist and psychotherapist based at the Solihull Wellbeing Clinic here in the UK. This is the 10th in my series of video blogs. Today I'd like to address the subject of joy and laughter. You see, in the world we sometimes take things far too seriously. We lose our spirit of playfulness, happiness. Children have been found to laugh over 300 times a day. But as adults, typically, it's only about 15. I wonder what happens to us as we grow older. What happens to that spirit of laughter, joy, light-heartedness? There are so many benefits of being light-hearted, to be more joyful in the world, because fear and anxiety tends to steal away those capabilities and those capacities. We find ourselves living a mundane and dull existence. One of the most beautiful quotes I came across in researching this subject was that of all our days, on the days that we have not laughed, those days are the most wasted. That's by Sebastian Roche. It's quite well documented now that when we are in any sort of physical pain or mental distress, it changes our body's chemistry, our brain chemistry, our blood chemistry. So if it works in the negative, if difficult times can affect us in this way, why can't it work the other way around too? If negativity changes our body chemistry for the worst, why can't positivity, why can't joy change it for the better? Certainly, it's been found in couple studies that those couples who can laugh when they're falling out and experiencing stress can get through and have a greater longevity and a greater satisfaction within their relationship. Really what that tells us is that couples who can laugh together and play together stay together. You see, happiness and joy is contagious, and the agents by which that contagion is transmitted is laughter and smiles. Dr. Madan Kataria knew this well. He was a medic working in Mumbai, and he developed the idea of lunchtime comedy clubs. People would gather together in the Central Park in Mumbai, and they would laugh together, tell one another jokes. And when those jokes dried up and everybody knew the punchlines, or perhaps they were descending into more vulgar sorts of comedy, Dr. Kataria decided to develop techniques by which the group could laugh without the need for jokes. So they would do that through childlike eye contact, through silly games, through exercises and exhibitions, through creative and funny sounds, through making motions and movements that just made everybody laugh because it was so silly. And you see that pretend laughter very quickly became real belly laughter, that helpless kind of laughter in which you can't stop even if you try. And what he found was that people came in their dozens and then in their hundreds, and the group began to grow and grow. And very soon he knew he was onto something quite special. Dr. Kataria developed his model into laughter yoga, which is now practiced all around the world in different settings. You see, the emotional benefits of laughter and smiling and being joyful are so great, because when we laugh, when we smile, we are very much present moment focused. In those moments we can't think or do anything else. Laughter and joy takes over, and it's a real de-stressor. When we laugh, when we are joyful, it creates a psychological distance from our stress, from the concerns that we have, from the troubles that we may be experiencing. And that's maybe why the saying developed that if you don't laugh, you'd cry. Sometimes that distracting, that distancing, that separation from the troubles that are plaguing our mind can be a very helpful relief. I'm not saying that we should always distance ourselves and distract ourselves, because sometimes difficulties need to be addressed and faced in a more direct manner. But there is certainly space and room for this sort of adjustment and this sort of coping. It's really because Smiles and laughter increase our sense of positivity, and when we feel more positive, we tend to experience greater emotional and psychological well-being. And just think about this for a moment, that when we make mistakes, when things don't go according to plan, if we can laugh at ourselves, it means we can also learn to forgive ourselves. And if we can learn to forgive ourselves, we can learn to forgive others. And of course, that creates a far more harmonious and constructive environment. Dr. Kataria puts it like this, that laughter is a connector of people. It has no barriers because it has no language. And when we tend to smile, when we have a sense of joyfulness in our face, we are evaluated by other people as warmer and more sincere human beings. We tend to be more attractive to others. And when we smile during difficult times, when we are in a group and there are some problems that need to be faced, the first thing it does is it reminds us that we're not alone, that other people are there. We get a sense of affiliation and connectivity with one another. And the second thing that it does is it tells us that we will get through, that there is a way past this, that we do not need to become overwhelmed by whatever is troubling us at this moment in time. At the University of Oxford in 2011, there was a study that found that laughter increases the release of endorphins within the brain. The endorphins now are the body's natural antidepressant chemicals. Not only was there an increased release of endorphins, but also the pain thresholds that were being measured increased by almost 10% in the subjects that were participating. Many years before, in 1979 to be precise, a man by the name of Norman Cousins wrote a book, The Anatomy of Illness as Perceived by the Patient. What he was suffering with was a connective tissue disease, and he was in great pain. But he found that when he laughed, when he watched shows and comedy programs that really created belly laughter, it helped him to cope with his pain. It was so effective, he found, that actually it afforded him almost 2 hours of pain-free sleep. It was an anesthetic of sorts. Can you believe that laughter could be medicine? In another study with elderly people over the age of 65, 109 subjects were assessed. They were issued depression scales, mental health examinations, physical health scales, and also scales for insomnia, the amount of difficulty they were having to sleep. 48 of the subjects were placed in a laughter therapy group, where they would attend for laughter sessions 4 times a week. 61 of the subjects were placed in a control group. What they found after 4 months was that those individuals who had attended laughter therapy had far better sleep, rated their physical health much more positively, and the measure for their depressed scale was also much better, much improved.